Welcome back to the Buckle Up Podcast universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. Mama Rush will be here momentarily. I am actor Brandon Rush. I've been in 77 TV shows and movies around the United States and Mexico and soon overseas. I have my mom, Mama Rush, will be here in a second. And then today we have one producer, Jessie, on. She will be our guest today, talk to us about a new film that she has coming out. And she has worked on a lot of different projects. So we're happy to have her. These are our numbers so far. That's how our numbers are looking in the United States. People tuning in on Instagram. That is 41% of people on Instagram in the United States are tuning in, and 7.1% in the United Kingdom are tuning in. Then we also have 11.4% in India and 3.3% in Canada are all tuning into the Buckle Up Podcast universe. That's one strip for Betty White. These are some of the guests we've had on. That's what I did Power Book 2 with 50 Cent. 10.4 million that we were at. Our numbers are doing very well. We're excited about that. Sorry, let me go back to that real quick. 10.4 million. You can see it there. We are in 33. Is that right? Excuse me. We're in 28 countries around the world, and 233 cities around the world are all tuning into the Buckle Up Podcast universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. We have over, I think it was 1,111 downloads. So we are absolutely blessed and excited that everyone around the world is enjoying our podcast and tuning into our show as well. So we have a lot more to come, and we're excited about it. Pause it while I wait for Jessie to come here. I'm recording. This one, let me hit the record right down here too. Okay, pause recording. Recording is going. All right, cool. Admit. Why didn't I just admit her? Okay, admit. She should be coming through now. And Jessie's not on just yet. I see her.
Okay.
Jessie, hello.
Hello there, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing really well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much.
Oh, no, thank you, Jessie, for coming on. And Jessie, this is my mom, Mama Rush. Her name's Carolyn, but we call her Mama Rush. Either or it works.
Hi, Jessie. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mama Rush. So wonderful to meet you.
Oh, wonderful meeting you too. You're such a beautiful person.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you so much. Likewise, I love this mom and son team.
Honestly, I love it too. It's a blessing to be able to have my mom still here and alive, to be able to be on the show with us. I know if my dad was alive, he'd be here too. But my mom has been such a blessing with me. And people love it. We both asked the right. We both are great. We're a great team.
That's great.
I could see that.
Great. Absolutely. Jessie, thank you so much for coming on here today. I know you're a very busy woman, do it all over the world. And today is going to be a spotlight on you. And you can, I don't want your arm to get tired if you want.
I know. I'm going to go ahead and put this down here.
That would be great.
Go ahead, take your time. Yeah, you're good. Jessie, because I film all over the country, I've had to set up, I've had auditions come in when I've literally been in a hotel room. And I've had to set up books, like use the Bible in the desk drawer and like a ironing board to be able to do my self-tape sometimes. So I completely understand.
Yes. Yes, I'm in the middle. I'm actually shooting a show right now called Beauty Insider TV. And yes, let me find a good little spot for this.
Okay, you're good.
So you let us.
But I'm excited to have a conversation with you guys. So much has been going on as of recently.
Yeah, Jessie, please, this is a complete spotlight on you. So one, let us know whenever you have to go and you can go. And then two, it's just all about you and everything that you have going on. And we saw you have the Stormrider movie, which looks amazing.
Yes, it does. I was looking at it while I was seeing the preview. So you have to tell us about your journey first, becoming a producer, and how do you come up with such a wonderful new movie?
Thank you for that. And what an exciting journey and project this has been. This movie was envisioned 7 years ago by two wonderful directors, and Neb Chupin, the producer, who also is the actor, the lead. It's kind of like a true story about his life.
Really?
But there was so much adventure, and the movie's so complex. It's a trilogy. Think of an epic. It's a very ambitious independent film.
Okay.
And we finished it right before Cannes Film Festival deadline. We premiered it there. It was very well received.
Awesome.
And so now we have a Christmas Day theatrical release for that film.
Wow.
It's family friendly, adventure, filled with so much heart and love, loyalty, courage, overcoming adversity despite of the obstacles. And I guess the lesson I learned from this project is never give up.
Oh yeah. Jessie, I actually live by that. I have one of my necklaces, not this one, the one I won for years before my St. Michael one is it said never give up on it. It's a silver necklace I had forever, but I now wear the St. Michael's necklace. But before it's about the never give up. I'm about that too. So never giving up. Yeah, you're right. I guess you guys, it must have been a journey and a half. And for a project that takes 7 years, which I know that happens for some projects, but for you guys to overcome those obstacles, that's a testament to you guys' character and will to get it done no matter what.
But Jessie, question: when you were a little girl and you were coming up, did your mother see your potential, your parents, or you just knew you had it and you were going to get it done?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I feel as though I've been doing this since I was a little girl. I'd gather up the kids in the neighborhood and assign roles to them, and I was the orchestrator. So I've always loved writing music. My first painting made it to a museum when I was 11 years old. So the art was always there. I just didn't know what the channel of expression would be. And I was raised by my wonderful grandmother, America. She did see my potential.
Yeah.
She wanted me to be an actress. And I started off as a TV host for 7 years. But I prefer being behind the scenes. I like envisioning, telling stories that really move people and make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the beginning of a big thing. I've been involved in television for a long time, but feature films are a way to actually really express a true story. Um, and I find it easier, actually. This film took 7 years, but I'm currently working on a new action thriller, Divine Soldiers. And Divine Soldiers is going to inspire, like teenagers, young adults.
Yeah.
Again, that if it is to be, it is up to me. Each
Absolutely.
person has a unique journey, purpose, destiny to fulfill. And, through these stories, I hope to enable people with an understanding that anything is possible.
Amen.
That they believe in and apply themselves to.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that. I'm actually I'm the same way. Like, I believe that you can inspire. That's one of the things we're trying to do with this podcast. How did you personally, what made it to you? What made you have the faith, or for instance, your grandma believing in you was one thing. How did you decide that, hey, you know what, I'm going to use these talents that God gave me, or that whatever you feel that you got your talents from, to get you to go and want to inspire other people like that? Because you're saying that with this new movie coming out, for instance, you want to inspire the younger generation. What did you volunteer? Maybe you still do volunteer work. What made you want to do that? What put that in your soul, I guess?
Brandon, that's a wonderful and complex question. I strongly believe, after all the trials and tribulations and overcoming a lot of adversity, I believe everyone knows by the age of 5 what they're going to do in their lives. They do forget along the way. Sometimes it doesn't seem logical. There is no guarantees.
Yeah.
And so I have volunteered most of my life. I will never say no to helping anyone. I pay it forward. But my main focus has always been learning. How can I learn how to do this, master that? Whatever it is we want to achieve, the only thing standing between achieving it is knowing how to.
Yeah.
And then once you figure out how to do it, you're also going to need a lot of faith and confidence. My faith is completely in God, because
Amen.
he shows up every time.
Amen.
And prayers are real.
Yes.
And I'll give you an example of that. I could go to 100 networking events in search of the right contact to collaborate with,
Uh-huh.
and I won't find it. It's
Yeah.
not God's timing.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
However, I'll go sit at a restaurant and a stranger on my right side is talking to me and they have all the keys that I
Yep.
need for whatever project that was.
Amen.
Now, that's not a coincidence.
No, not at all. Not at
And
all.
so I find that having faith is more powerful than just trying to do it all on our own,
That is
Amen.
so true.
Yeah. No, you're
our way.
Yes,
y-
I believe that because I was just listening to you and I was thinking about when you have so many choices to make, how do you come about trying to pick the director, the cast, the crew to make that project happen? And I know how the Lord has led us for Brandon to walk in faith to leave the East Coast by himself and fly all the way over to after graduating from the University of South Carolina and just looking at us as his parents and said, Mama, I'm leaving. I want to be this actor. And we had faith in the Lord to say, well, Brandon, you're a grown man, do your thing. And he tells those stories. And sometimes I think about the trials and tribulations that he went through out there and didn't know about them all. But I think about what you're saying. You come and in you, that spirit just leads you to pick the right people. Is that how you feel about it? And you come to some feeling of this is the right answer for me.
That is very well said, and I do pray a lot
Yeah.
for direction.
Mhm.
As I mentioned, the times that I have personally tried to make those choices myself, they're not always good choices.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When I surrender, depend on God, He has those people already chosen,
Yeah.
and I believe our destiny's written. And so, like, if there is a doubt, there is no doubt. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
so, usually, when God ordains it, it just
Mhm.
works. And
Amen.
it's mysterious. It doesn't make sense most of the time,
Yeah.
but I'm in complete awe just how this film made it to Cannes, how
Uh-huh.
I met, the right person to get a theatrical release for it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was praying for Christmas Day.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and that's just not easily offered to most people.
Yeah.
Or projects.
Mhm.
But we did have a good turnout. I would have never said, "Oh, we're going to con this year." I would. That was far from my mind.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh-huh.
just trying to get the work done, figure out. Like I literally was like, I better just do something more um secure with my future because my family pressures me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then, right, every time I say that to myself, God says, "Oh, I have you on the right path.
Amen.
Yes, that's
Get
so
Yeah.
ready."
Absolutely. Jesse, one thing a question I had to ask you with you guys going to, there's several things I want to ask. I love that you're faith-based. I'm faith-based too. I literally, when people ask me the things I've been able to accomplish, I tell them it's like, why are you always thinking God? I'm like, you don't understand. God is the things I've been able to accomplish. Only God has made me, because I didn't know anybody in the business. And I literally have been blessed to keep continually to meet the people or be around someone that had a conversation and said, hey, Brandon, this person right here is a person that you should go like do an open mic night, and they would see you and you would perform for them, and that would give you an opportunity. With that being said, with you coming about this film and going to is it Canes or Cons? I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry. I've never been. So
Con. It's con.
uh,
It's
how did
con.
you just will you tell us about that whole entire, if you don't mind, like if you're able to, you getting involved with this project, then you guys getting the con, and then even distribution, because I, as an actor, the producer side, I have no idea what you guys in the world do. I still to this day, it's still like a mystery. But if you wouldn't mind maybe telling us that process.
So as I mentioned, we finished it probably the day before the deadline is over
Hmm.
to submit it to con. I kind of encourage the main investor. We have to go there. We have to present this film, do it in a very nice way.
Mhm.
Um, we did, and I had no plans of going. However, there was a lot of people encouraging me that I've known for a long time. They're like, "Oh, you have to go. You have to go." And I was hesitant. I was like, "Well, I've never been there before."
Uh-huh.
Long story short, we get there, all doors open. every single person that I would have wanted to meet was introduced. Everyone showed up to the screening. They loved it. Everything happened all at once. Distribution offers, theatrical release, and the list goes on. The film, it couldn't be told in one picture because it's so complex. Think of Star Wars or Guardians of the Galaxy. Those types of stories take a lot to tell. But it's such a beautiful story. The cinematography is incredible. It was shot in Croatia and Serbia. So it's surrounded by the most beautiful nature. We created a universe that's it's never been seen before. But the story is just amazing. But anything's possible, Brandon, because prior to that, I had shot a short film on my own that I wrote and directed, and I submitted it and it got accepted. I'm like, wow, if this short film could get accepted, maybe we could do a bigger one.
Yeah.
And so it's just I believe life will give us what we're ready for. And those opportunities will find us when we're prepared.
Absolutely.
So the key to life is just stay open-minded and prepare yourself and just improve your skills. Keep a keep a grateful attitude.
Yeah.
And there's not one moment or one day that goes by that God is out of my conversations, because it is all God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It truly is.
One thing I like about you, you're so natural.
Yeah.
You're a natural person. I can feel that spirit in you. And the reason I say that, with Brandon said, we have this producer mother coming on, and she is really a big time person. And I wanted to ask this question in commenting about how natural you are. And I can see how people become comfortable with you and want to help you. And you helping Brandon with just the podcast today. But do you ever get nervous? So like, I got to do this, nervous, when you know a lot of money is going to be on the line and you got to convince these people in a room to do it.
I always get nervous. I channel that energy. It's like, if I could describe it, it feels like adrenaline. And I've chosen to like channel that in a positive way, because when we feel ready, when we feel prepared and we've done our work, most of the time that nervousness kinds of fades into excitement.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling. But I always think win-win. And as time has gone by, I never attempt to do something unless it's going to be a win-win.
Absolutely.
The investors are going to win, the actors are going to win, everyone. And when God ordains something, that's usually the way it works. It comes together way bigger than we can imagine.
Absolutely.
And thank you for the natural compliment.
Yeah.
I like to be sincere. I like to just live organically in a natural way. I don't believe anything forced is meant for us.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whether it be work, relationships, and sometimes we just have to wait.
Yeah.
Because things are not ready.
Uh-huh.
But once they're ready, they happen like a domino effect.
They do.
This one project brought other projects, other movies, other TV shows, great connections, all in 10 days.
Really?
That I wasn't even planning to attend.
Oh, wow.
So
wow. And that's good that you like listen to faith. Actually, I would say sometimes like I listen to faith. They say walk by faith, not by sight. A lot of times I will listen to my faith. Like something's telling me, and it's my faith. That's why I can hear it. Like telling me like, hey, Brandon, do this or go there. And like you went with your gut or faith, either or, and it puts you in the right position where you could meet these people. You're meant to meet those people, as you said, ordained timing. But it's all matching up with the way you live your life. So that's a blessing.
Good attracts good. I tell you.
Thank you.
Great.
That's 100% how it happened,
right.
Brandon.
Yeah.
One thing I want to tell you about Brandon, when he decided to do this show, He said, Mom, I'm just going to get this show together. He's only been doing this show now, this podcast, 2 months. And we now have how many following?
We're at 10.4 million followers. We're in 28 countries, 233 cities, and we have like 1,111 downloads. We're doing really well.
It was the most amazing thing when he got this together. He said, Mom, would you come and be a part of it? And I'm a scientist, so I said, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." And I have thoroughly enjoyed meeting the different people he has brought on. And I wish his daddy were still alive, because his daddy was a journalism major, and he did a lot of speaking and those types of roles. But one thing, I looked at you and I was thinking about, Brandon sent me something, and I was looking at the different things that you've done in your life. You fly a plane?
Yes.
What?
Yes. I've
wild.
always wanted to fly. I'm encouraging my friends to learn how to fly too. You never know when you're going to need to fly a plane.
Okay.
Well,
the way the world's going.
Yeah, where did that come?
Yeah, where did the desire to come
about?
Yeah.
I love adventure. I have a martial arts background. I've been doing it since I was 11. I love rollerblading, skydiving, scuba diving. Just I'm careful because I don't want to get hurt. But I'm not even sure how. It's one of those things when I say to myself, "Oh, I wish I could do this." The opportunity arises. I could get a message on IG from the owner of a flight school, which is exactly what happens. He reached out to me. I went there, and it's just evolved. It's called Airman Flight School, and what a wonderful experience. First, you start inside of a machine until you learn everything, and then you take your first flight. But and you could fly up to 4 people in a plane, in a small aircraft. But I love the feeling of being up in the sky and the freedom. And like I said, I've been watching too many movies. You never know when you're on a stranded island and you need to jump in the plane and fly it.
Yeah. You're like Tom Cruise over here. Literally. Literally.
When I saw you walk up to that plane, I had a flashback, and I have to share that flashback with you. My sister, I have a sister who's a physician, and she decided she was going to take flying lessons, but she didn't want to tell our parents. So she confided in me. And she said, Carolyn, now please don't tell anybody, but I'm taking flying lessons and I just needed to tell someone. And she said, promise me you will not tell anyone. I let her get her story out. I said, I am going to tell Mama and Daddy right away. I'm going to tell Mama and Daddy. I said, because you're trying to put, if something happens to you, I would burden that. So I went in there and I told it first I'd give my word. Then I had to change it because she was talking with death and dying at that point. And I said, no, I cannot have this in my life. So I went in and I told my parents, I said, Mom and Dad, guess what Evelyn's doing? She's taking flying lessons. They told her, girl, if you don't get out of that plane now, we're Southern girls. And my parents are very wonderful parents. They probably thought I could be an astronaut if I wanted to. But with what they told me, they said, Evelyn, get out of that plane. You don't know what you're doing, and I don't want you to get hurt. I was feeling so relieved that it came from our parents. And so she stopped because she was nervous anyway. That's why she told me. Did you tell anybody that you were taking flying lessons when you started, Jessie?
No, I did not.
Oh,
okay. It's better to do
because I have 2 sisters, and one of them is just like you.
Okay.
She'll go around telling everybody, you know what Jessie's doing now?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, she's crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm just a free spirit. And, I believe when it's our time to go, it's our time to go.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jessie, you have this this fearlessness about you. Where do you think you developed that kind of like fearlessness for, or is it the fact that you don't mind trying something and seeing it's sometimes fear can be in your head and not actually, we create fear a lot of times within ourselves and it's not actually there. What gets you to jump through that invisible wall of fear, I guess, would be the thing.
That's a great question, Brandon, and you mentioned it earlier, walk
Faith.
by faith, not by sight.
Yeah.
And I think my relationship with God and Jesus Christ, I feel completely safe and protected and divinely guided. So I don't really think like most people do in that sense, because I love reading the Bible. The
Yeah.
Word of God is alive. Um and I've led many souls to Jesus Christ. And
Good.
I've seen a lot of people that were fearful once become fearless from a relationship with God and Jesus. And and that's where trust comes in. It takes a lot of faith and confidence to trust God. When we fully trust God, anything's possible. As I mentioned, anything I attempted to do on my own did not work out for me. Everything that has come to fruition was God's divine timing.
Exactly.
And that also builds your faith.
Absolutely.
Each time you surrender and rely on God for something, it could be something very difficult or complex. And God comes through and it works. You're like, wow. And then it keeps happening.
Yeah.
It's like I was just wishing I could fly a plane, and then this owner of the school calls me.
Absolutely.
And there's a long list like that.
Okay. If Jessie, if you wouldn't mind, like, if you want to throw out the fact that Brandon might win the lottery here somewhere, I'll take that. Some winning numbers, I will take that for sure.
Brandon,
Brandon, you have won the lottery. You won me as your mom,
yes, ma'am,
and your daddy.
Absolutely.
So you won a great lottery there.
That's right, Brandon. You're already a lotto winner with a wonderful mother like you have. But it's worth experimenting.
Yeah.
Envision those winning numbers, what they are. I mean, meditation is powerful.
Yeah.
And tapping into your inner self and truly believing in yourself, and then it's worth a shot. I believe anything we envision that's captured by a feeling of love and gratitude will manifest itself.
Amen.
And we could go to the park and there's somebody there that,
oh yeah, true.
They're like, hey, Brandon, I want to expand your business, whatever it is you're doing at the time. But it's almost like, is this real?
Yeah.
Like, it gets to that point.
No, you're right. You're right.
One thing I wanted to say, Brandon, is that not only that you won us as your parents, but we won the lottery for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I gotta correct.
Yeah, you're good.
To me, you gotta say you won the lottery with your son as well. But I love that God is our lighthouse, because let me tell you something. I almost died 6 times, and I think about how I've been near death experiences and how the Lord keeps moving me right on through this life. And so I think about that all the time. And I think about the wonderful people like meeting you. God keeps me here to continue to meet people. Like Brandon says, this show is about everyday people, but to meet you and find out how great you are and how you're just willing to move through lanes of life like that is amazing. Now, I saw you in all those beautiful clothes you wear.
Ooh. Styling and profiling.
Styling, just go on sets. Do you pick your own clothes out? I know ladies out there want to talk about this. Okay. I know we want to talk about what she does too, but tell me, how do you go about picking your outfits and everything? People need to go out there and see your page.
You are so sweet. Thank you for the kind words. Again, I don't pick anything. God picks it out.
Okay, there we go.
I've had, since I moved to LA, which was 10 years ago, I've met a few designers. They send clothes in an Uber, like 15 looks. They're like, choose whatever it is you'd like.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't even sure why they were doing that. But I've had the same relationships. Giorgio Armani asked me to be a brand ambassador, and they provide a lot of beautiful suits. I love suits. And yeah, again, it's all God, because these are things that I couldn't find on my own, which appeared at the right time.
Yes.
And a lot of people think, well, you need a lot of money for this, you need that for that. No, all you need is to initiate the first step
Yeah.
and start working towards it. And as we walk forward, all these other pieces show up on a day-to-day basis. God says, I will bless you one day at a time.
Absolutely.
And so it's one big puzzle. So whether it be, the people we work with or the clothes we wear, it's definitely all God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jessie, I had a question for you. Well, two things. One, I actually quoted Martin Luther King yesterday, said it, and you just kind of said it here too as well. You don't have to see the whole entire staircase. You just have to take the first step is one thing that he said. So you're saying like, hey, just taking that step, you don't have to see the whole entire process, but just like a day at a time is one thing. And then my next question for you was this. One of the things is I'm all about helping people because I know what it's like to not be helped by people. It can be like that in the business a lot of times. But I wanted to, when my mom was thinking about going back to work when I came up with this idea for the show. And I was like, hey, I can't have my mom go back to work. God, please help me find a way to build something that I can help out my mom. And then my nephew, who is only 11, but he told me, Uncle B, I'm afraid I won't be able to go to college one day. And so I went into gear. I'm saying, God, you've helped me to do all this. I've been in all these things. I know all these people. How can I create something that will help out all these people? So within creating the show, I had this thing called the Buckle Up University, which is helping kids that are thinking about either when they're finishing high school, that are either going into the workforce, going into college, or going into the military or having the military pay for college. I've had people from every single walk of life come on and tell their story with that. I don't know if you per se, it's a long-winded question, Jessie, I'm sorry. I don't know if you per se went, if you ended up going to college, what did you study while you were in college? Or if you didn't go to college route, what did you end up doing that got you to where you are today?
Brandon, I just a little background. I am an orphan. My parents passed away when I was 7. My grandmother, America, raised me from that time forward. Actually, she raised me since I was 6 months old.
Oh, wow.
I went to private schools. I didn't really have a lot of guidance. My grandmother just let me do whatever I wanted all the time. Like I mentioned, she was an angel from ironing my school uniforms and my meals and my lunches, and um so th- from a young age, God's been my only father. I've never called anyone mom or dad since I could speak. And so I did go to school. I went to private schools. I never studied to be on TV. I was recruited to be a host at a young age. Um, as I evolved my career, or as my career evolved, I did start taking master classes, courses, and I learned from my mistakes. I just started producing a TV show without even knowing how, just from what I had seen. And then, of course, in the course of 7 years, through making all the mistakes you could possibly made, and I perfected it. I'm like, wow, now I know how to produce television.
Yeah.
So you have to learn. Education is key.
Yeah.
What I changed, I would have studied way more had I known then what I know now,
Yeah.
because an education will help you save money because mistakes cost money.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Education can make mistakes too in that.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
I've made plenty with an education. So I think
Yes.
life learning. Yeah.
And regarding taking the first step, the reason I say that is the majority of the time people set plans that will never come to fruition no matter how much they planned it out. And then others will just move forward. We'll use Elon Musk as an example. When he was a little boy, his mother, and I've met her a few times, she's a lovely lady, May Musk, and she said when she was cooking dinner as a single mom, she'd walk into Elon's room when he was a teenager to ask him to come to dinner. It's like, wait, I'm designing a rocket.
Really?
And he was doing that since he was a little boy.
Yeah.
And so he was born with that vision that he had.
Yeah.
Who funded his vision? Grants and investors.
Wow. Yeah. Everything you're saying is very powerful. And also one of the things I appreciate you sharing, and thank you for being honest about that, is the fact that you were an orphan and that your grandma raised you. That's truly a special thing. I have an older brother. His name's Travis Hales, and Travis came from the boys' home because his mom had been a drug dealer and got put away. And he was sent to work in the boys' home, and he was sent to live in the boys' home and didn't have anybody. And my parents, my mom and my dad, both saw him when he was in high school and loved him just for being him, and saw that he had something special. And he took him into our house, into our home. And he spent every single weekend with us because he was at the week he had to be at the boys' home. But on the weekends, he spent every single weekend with our family. And it's just been the oldest brother to me, and has become an amazing young man who also now he's married, and the lovely woman that he married had 2 kids from previous marriage that he took in and raises as his own. But he's been this amazing man. My dad helped him get into college as well. And he's just turned out to be this bright soul. And so people like your grandmother, for instance, are amazing souls for what she did. And then my parents as well for doing what they did with Travis, just having that in your soul and your heart.
And what's so wonderful about Travis is now a poet.
Oh, yeah.
He has written 4 books. And just to see him, my heart just flutters. And I just thank the Lord how God puts certain people in your path. And he was at high school with all of them. And I just saw his heart. And he is just a wonderful another son to me. And he had never witnessed, which was so beautiful about him, is and I call him my son, and Brandon calls him his older brother, or his oldest brother, is that he said he had never seen a woman in the home on a day-to-day basis, fixing dinner for her family and just having fun. And it touched my heart so, and I'll never forget, I made some collard greens. And he said, "Oh, these taste delicious." And well, being a Southern cook, of course, I'm going to be able to make collard greens. And so, but he had never tasted collard greens like that. And so for him to he was just making comments like this. And it touched my heart even as he grew up. To see things that maybe we exposed him to. And then to look at your grandmother who exposed you to knowing how the Lord was and how important he is to your life, and how he's ordered your path now through that industry that you now are in. And he's been right there by you, your mother, your daddy, and your grandparents. But your mother, God has been your mother, your father, just right there, directing your path. And that's what I had to think about when Brandon mentioned, when you mentioned how you came to be in this life with everything. And did you go to Catholic school wearing the uniforms? I heard you say uniforms.
Yes, I did.
I
did
too. I did.
My principal was a priest. My teacher was a nun.
Oh, wow.
Church was one of the subjects.
Yeah. I had my middle school teacher came on. She was a guest on the show. She was amazing. From my Catholic school, she came on about last month sometime.
It was so amazing that when Brandon was in her class, she would always say, "Oh, we got to take care of Brandon." Brandon had that creative ability about him, and so she would always put his seat up next to her. But now she has become Brandon's #1 fan.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to her out there on the podcast, but she's the first one to comment about everything he's been on. I don't know if you've watched anything Brandon has been on, have you?
It's okay, Jessie.
You don't have to worry about it. But
it's completely fine.
Seen some of his work. He has a great page, and it was all energy. How, like, what I was drawn to Brandon about. I mean, I could feel his spirit. He's very very confident, very big-hearted.
Thank you, Jessie. I appreciate that.
That's good to hear from a producer, Brandon.
Or just a person in general. That's good to hear from.
Yeah, that's from a personal point too.
Jessie, question for you. And you've hit us with great things. What advice would you give to kids that are going? Travis had advice coming from the boys' home. What advice would you have for you being adopted yourself? What kind of advice would you have for someone that probably there's people out there in that similar situation? The advice that you could possibly pass on to them, would you think?
Yes, Brandon. And so my new film, Divine Soldiers, the opening scene is, 3 children at an orphanage.
Oh, wow.
Who were born with special missions, humanitarian missions, and obviously also special skills.
Yeah.
So my goal is to make people aware. It's not so much just encourage and inspire. I believe that everyone's born with everything that they need.
Mhm.
And some people need parents, some people don't. Whatever God's plan is, only he knows. But I like to think of the superhero movies, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. None of them have traditional upbringings.
No, they don't.
And they all have special skills and superpowers, and that's their destiny. And so my advice is embrace your wherever you're at, no matter what your circumstances look like. God is with you no matter what happens. And so if you believe in yourself and you just trust God, put your faith in God, and whatever it is you love, do that. Because God will give you all of the tools and open all of the doors that you need to achieve that. Now it's scary. There's ups and downs. And everyone thinks about giving up. I know I have many times, like, okay, this is not for me, this is not working out. But you can escape your purpose, and you cannot escape your true destiny.
Amen.
So even if it's scary, embrace it. And just go for it. You know, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, you're right. My mom was the worst thing they can say is no. You know.
I always tell Brad, if you don't ask, the answer is no.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And not only that, sometimes another great tip that I have is don't ask the wrong people. If you have an idea or you have a project and you go shop it around and talk to the wrong people that have no decision making authority, they're gonna say, oh, it's not that good, da 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 da, and you could waste your time. So you have to believe in your project, and if 10 people say no, you talk to the 11th person until you get to the right person.
You are so right with that. I know with agents, I've always been that way. Like if one person says no, I'm like, all right, God actually has the right agent for me each time. And I've always found the right people in my team. If one person says no, I'm like, okay, God didn't mean for me to bless you, to be honest. I think that's more their loss, not mine. But God has always brought me to the right people. And I'm so thankful for the team that I have, but I've always come across the right people at the right time. By one, being a good person, but by two, I read their spirits too. When I'm talking to them, I'm like, hey, is this someone that, because I'm an athlete. I grew up an athlete, played football in college, was walk-on in college. I will go all out for the team. I go all out for my family. I go all out for my friends. I go out for any show that I show up on. I am doing my best every single time. So when it comes to me picking teams and people I work with, I always read their spirit. If it's a spirit that I feel like their soul's not right, I'm like, okay, hey, you know what, man? I wish you all the best, but I'm gonna keep walking by my face. So I've just been blessed to find the right people.
That's right, Brandon. Brandon could always read people, and I have that ability, and it's ability given by the Lord Himself. And you can walk in the room, and I don't have to talk to that person. I can see that person, and I'll say, I'm moving on in this direction. And I think that's led you right in your career, Brandon, and it's led me right with mine. But I appreciate that, and I can see it's leading. It's leading Jessie in the right direction. Jessie, I didn't tell you, my best cousin who died a few years ago. She was my best friend, my best cousin. We'd be on the phone talking until 3 a.m. Her name was Jessie. Her name was Jessie, and we called her Piggy. But her name was Jessie. And I thought about when Brandon said we would do this interview, she came to light because we had so much fun together. And I miss her so much. So able to say Jessie so many times now today, your name has made me feel very good. I want you to know. Excellent.
That's so beautiful. And Brandon, you're right. Like you can read the book of Corinthians talks about the spiritual gifts, the gift of discernment, or the gift of knowledge or wisdom. And trusting one's intuition and that small, gentle, very quiet voice, which comes from the Holy Spirit, trusting that is everything. Because anytime you look back, you're like, I heard the voice and I still did it.
Yeah. I know that's right. That's absolutely right.
It everything narrows down to our trust in ourselves and our trust in God.
Absolutely.
And not listening to all the outside noise. There's always going to be bad news everywhere.
Yeah, true.
And everyone has opinions, and everyone loves to project, their strengths or weaknesses onto others. And so
Absolutely.
that's why we have to see ourselves how God views us.
Amen. Well, Jessie, look, I don't want to hold you up much longer. Is there you first off, you've been absolutely wonderful. Like you beyond blessed us today. Like wow. There's a Proverbs thing I'm going to send you after we're off of here that came up last night that I'm going to send to you. I actually posted on my Instagram, which was talking about helping people and whatnot. And it's like a lot of the knowledge you dropped today has been doing that. And I wanted to make sure, is there anything that you wanted to mention that that we didn't hit on? And everybody that comes on here is always welcome back. So literally anytime, because we own it. So you're always welcome to come back anytime with anything that you might have or want to talk to us about, because you're a great spirit in general just to have on here. And
thank you so much, Brandon. And I guess my question is, how can people find you? What's the name of your podcast?
Oh yeah, sure. Oh, great question, Jessie. Thank you. So the podcast is called the Buckle Up Podcast with Brandon Rush and then and Mama Rush. So if they go on, we're on 20 podcast stations. So I went pretty hard into everything. So if you look up that, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon Music, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on YouTube. So it's literally 20 stations. So if they just look up Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush, it'll pop up, and then YouTube, and then my Instagram, which is Brandon Rush with 2 H's.
And I love that.
And how about you too, Jessie? If Stormrider, the movie, you guys have a page for Stormrider, the movie?
Yeah. So on IG, we just created a page for it, and all our friends are on there. It's Stormrider movie. Okay. Also, Jessie Confidential on IG. I'm going to start posting more of my projects on there.
Okay.
But yes, I'll keep updating everyone. We're going to have a world premiere. I'd love for you guys to attend.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The Hollywood premiere of Stormrider before it comes out in theaters. It's going to definitely be action packed with some of the most amazing athletes and actors. And yeah, I'm just excited of it's everything's happening, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. You deserve it, and you're deserving of it, and then God's blessing, because you're a good person. Like
look how free her spirit is. I love that spirit, just so free and
absolutely. Oh, wow. There's a man, I just had to mention his name one time, Jessie. His name is Jim Clemente, and until meeting you today, Jim Clemente, I always said, was an angel amongst us, because he's an executive producer and writer who hired me in Criminal Minds. And he has a great podcast too called Best Case, Worst Case Scenario. He's been a person that has blessed so many people and doesn't have a vicious bone in his body, but he's helped start a lot of careers, including my own. And Jessie, you remind me a lot of Jim Clemente, who I love dearly.
Yeah. You need to meet him.
Yeah.
You need to
meet him. You would love, Jim would love you. And Jim's amazing.
I tell you, he really is amazing, and he worked a lot on
executive producer on Criminal Minds, writer on Criminal Minds. He's done so much. He's been in the business a lot. I'll send you his information, but you definitely gonna have to have you meet Jim.
Y'all are great people.
You guys are like, you guys are almost, you guys are basically the same. Like you have that spirit of kindness. It can be hard to find in Hollywood. It really can be. So I thank you for having
my heart. That is so sweet of you to say. I would love to meet him.
Oh, absolutely. I'll let Jim know. Jim's great. Like, he is the most entertaining person ever. I love Jim.
And I think his podcast is number 2.
Yeah, number 1. Best Case, Worst Case Scenario. He's
number 1 in the whole podcast world.
Yeah, Jim's retired FBI.
Wow.
And he created a business as executive producer he does most of the movies that have anything with FBI stuff related in that. His company does that kind of stuff. But he talks about all of his cases as the FBI agent.
I love that. Maybe I can work with him on Divine Soldiers. That's the premises of my film.
Oh, Jim's the guy. I'll write. Sorry, I hate to yell. I'll write Jim as soon as I get off. Whenever
I'll definitely keep you in mind when the time comes, Brandon.
Hey, I'm always here. I play agents like nobody's business. Well, Jessie, you were absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. We'd love to come to that premiere. Just let us know when that is, and we'd love to be there. And then we thank you for being a wonderful human being first. And that's important.
You both are so amazing. Thank you, Mama Rush and Brandon Rush.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And Jessie, you're back anytime. And at the end,
you touched my soul so much today. I love it. I love it. You touched my whole atmosphere in my home today. I thank you so much. Yeah. And so listen,
we always give everyone a round of applause at the end. Jessie, you've been wonderful.
you.
Email me what photo you want to use for your podcasting, because honestly, I'll have it done in 3 hours.
Wow, you guys are amazing.
Yeah, we move fast like the movie business.
All
Well,
right,
thank
I'll
you so
reach
much,
out to
Jessie.
you. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
You too as well, Jessie. Have a blessed day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Jessie.
Bye-bye. Oh,
Wonderful.
wasn't she fantastic?
Absolutely.